another monthly reset video where I take you guys through what I learned in January and we plan for the new month of February. As you guys saw, I already did some cleaning around the house. So it's just nice to kick off February strong with a clean space, because I feel like when my space is clean, my mind is clear and I can just breathe. With that, let's get into this video. I'm so excited to share with you guys what I learned this past month and then my goals for February. So let's get into it. Starting with our January reflections, I typically do this by doing 3 things I learned, 3 things I'm grateful for, and 2 to 3 things I want to let go of this month. And I'm just going to take you guys through 1 to 2 of the top things, each of those categories. So the first one, something that I learned this month, is that I really love making people smile with small gestures. And this really came from me and my friends. We had our Friendsmas, which we always do it late. We always do it in January. And I had made all of my girlfriends something really small, which was just like a card with a handwritten note, just telling them how much I appreciate them. And then gave them like a $25 gift card to Figs because they're all nurses. But seeing their reaction just made me feel very warm inside, which I didn't think I was going to feel. If you're my friend, you know sometimes it's hard for me to tell people how much I love and appreciate them, and something I want to get better at this year is telling the people who mean a lot to me how much I do really care for their presence in my life. And so doing this, as small as it was, seeing their reactions just made my day and made me realize that I should do it more often. And it doesn't have to be always like a gift card or something monetary, but like a small note or maybe a text, I think would mean a lot to them. That's something I learned this month. 2 things I'm grateful for, which the first one you'll probably hear me talk a lot about in this video because I literally cannot shut up about it. But the first thing I'm grateful for is learning about hamachi crudo. We went to Urban Sea in Encinitas and it was so freaking good. Like, it's a piece of like raw meat. There's like, I don't even know everything that's on it, but it's like sesame seeds with jalapenos. It was like drenched in like olive oil and lemon, and it was so freaking good. Like, I think that's my preferred fish. Like, I'm usually like salmon and tuna, but I think hamachi is like the way to go now. So very happy and grateful I learned about that. And then I'm also very grateful for the past 5 years of my relationship. My boyfriend and I just celebrated our 5-year anniversary, and it was just a very big milestone for us, and I'm so grateful to be in such a healthy and loving relationship with him. And then the one thing I want to let go of this month, which I feel like I'm trying to let go of every month, is self-doubt and knowing that I belong in every single room that I walk into. But I feel like that's a practice and something I'm going to continue to try to do every single month. And then for my January favorites, before I used to do just like my favorite books, but this month I had a lot of things in media that I consumed that I just want to share with you guys because I feel like I don't want to gatekeep any of these things. So the first category is podcasts. I started listening to On Purpose with Jay Shetty, and he had featured Kevin Hart and Mel Robbins in 2 separate podcasts, and I listened to them and they were so good. I feel like if you have the time to watch at least like the Kevin Hart one, I feel like he had a lot of really great takeaways. For shows and movies, definitely recommend The Menu and White Lotus. Those are both on HBO. But if you like those thrillers, like mysteries, and just like a very well shot show, highly recommend those 2. And then if you only have Netflix, I watched Get Smart with Money. So like if you're trying to start out in your financial journey, I thought that was a really good documentary. Favorite song of the month was Players by Coi Leray. Funny enough, I'm on a 5-year relationship, but you know, girls can be players too. And then favorite restaurant, Urban Sea, hamachi crudo. Leave it at that. And then my favorite purchase were these bed sheets from Kinsey. I think that's how they're pronounced. But I've been wanting to invest in some really nice bed sheets, and these were actually like at a pretty decent price because for fulls I've been seeing like $400-$500. I think this one was like $200-ish, so it was a pretty decent price for some really nice bed sheets, and I've been loving them since we got them. Okay, so now going through all my goals for January. For the first category, we have finances. I did track my expenses every week, which is great. I did hit my savings goals for this month. I did also save a little bit more in my emergency fund, which is awesome. And then I did not limit the amount of food I bought when I'm out. I feel like, again, another problem I had is spending money on food I don't necessarily need, which we'll talk about my conscious spending plan. Next is health and wellness. I did reestablish my 5 a.m. morning routine, and now it's just getting to do that on a more consistent basis. I did follow my workout program. I didn't hit all 22, I think, workouts this month, but I did a decent amount, so I'm pretty proud of that. And I did take a Pilates and yoga class every time I was home on Saturday, and have been starting to do 15 to 20 minutes in the sauna, which has been such a game changer. I feel like every time I'm in there, I don't bring my headphones in. I'm just sitting there breathing and meditating and just trying to calm my mind. So that's always really nice. I have been drinking 3 bottles of water, but not consistently, so I'm not going to check that off, unfortunately. But I have been taking my first form supplements kind of consistently, which you guys can kind of see here below in this habit tracker. Supplements, collagen and creatine, have been taking it pretty frequently, but my greens, not so much. I think in reality, when it comes to my habits, I want to try to hit at least 70%. So the only way we're there is with creatine, but again, we're trying to build on this every single month, and I'll keep the same habits that I want to continue to build into February. So going into personal, I did read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Haven't been making really great progress on that, but I did start reading it. I did not look into getting my real estate license this month. There was just so much going on. And then no social media in the AM and PM. That one is very hard. I feel like this is on everyone's like goals list, is to not look at your phone before bed or right when you wake up. So I won't check that off, but we tried, and that's effort is all that matters. And then for relationships, no phone when I'm with my friends. I think I did a pretty good job at that. For YouTube, I was more intentional and elaborate with my thumbnails this month. Were they the best? You know, I don't know, but we are getting better and we're being more thoughtful about it. I did post 4 videos this month, so we are trying to continue with that consistency. Grow to 18,000. I didn't grow. I think I grew to like 15.8, which is still really good because I think I had like 13,000 in the start of January. So I'm not gonna like, you know, be like, oh, I didn't hit 18,000. Like, no. To the 2,000 subscribers that subscribed to my channel this month, thank you. I'm very proud of that. And with this goal, I realized it's just not a very good goal to have because there's only so much you can control. Like, I can't control somebody subscribing to my channel. What I can control is being more consistent, is being more elaborate with my thumbnails. And so I think, which I'll talk about my February goals, is that instead of saying like, oh, I want to hit this amount, it's more so I want to create more quality content and a lot more time for planning. Have to do a better job at that. Didn't really do that this month. So we did a decent job this month at hitting our goals, which, you know, when I have all 5 of these categories, it's kind of a lot to do all of these on top of like my habits, but I am proud of like doing, you know, most of these. Yeah, I hit over 50% of my goals, which is really great. For my habit tracker, we briefly went over this, but I included this now into my monthly reflections page just to track where I've been at with all the habits that I've been trying to build. And I pretty much got these percentages from my habit tracker and just put it there. Okay, so now going into February, here are all of my goals. So for my finances, I want to exceed my savings goal in at least 2 of my buckets. I want to spend more on groceries than I do eating out. I do also want to make progress in our Stay with Kaiser business, which Julian and I started talking about last month, but I want that to also be a focus for February. And then also just doing my taxes this month and being ahead of it. My intention is to use the extra income I'm making to invest more in my Roth IRA, any of my savings buckets, and or my business. For health and wellness, I want to start doing 12-3-30, which if you guys have never heard of that, it's walking at a 12% incline at 3 miles per hour for 30 minutes, or doing 10 30-second sprints. So doing either one of those twice a week because I do want to get back into doing cardio. I used to do so much running in 2020 during the pandemic, and I feel like that's where I made a lot of progress and I kind of just stopped. So trying to slowly get back into that. I also want to again follow my workout plan. I do have a vacation at the end of this month, so also working out when I'm on vacation and modifying what that plan might look like, because obviously I won't have all of the machines like I do at my gym, but still working out and moving my body. I do want to hit at least 70% on my habits. My intention this month is to challenge myself to stay on top of all of my workout plans, even when on vacation. For personal, I want to start taking notes when consuming media. Sometimes when I consume media or like I'm trying to learn something, I immediately forget it because I'm not taking any notes. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna remember that. And I never remember that. So every time I consume something where I'm trying to learn, it's like taking notes. I also want to finish my UGC portfolio. That's also something I'm trying to venture into. But my intention this month is to be more mindful of the media I'm consuming and take notes to remember key takeaways. For relationships, I am doing again no phones when I'm with my friends, and then showing my girls that I love them because Valentine's Day is coming up. Intention is to build deeper connections with those around me, to create more quality content, spend more time planning out my videos, and then being more active with my community. But my intention is to create more content than I consume. So those are my goals for February. Again, this seems like kind of a lot, but I feel like something that is manageable and it challenges me, but it's not too much. Like some of the things I've already been doing and now it's putting a goal to it, like a physical, I wrote it, let's go do it goal. Next is everyone's favorite part where I will review January's conscious spending plan, which other people call their budget plan. But this month I am very proud of myself. I did go over on my goal for expenses, but I think the positive part of it all is that I did pay myself first and hit all of my savings and investment goals. And I even contributed more to my solutions fund, which I think I had a goal of saving $200 and I actually saved $340. Something new I did add a bucket for taxes. So I will be saving 20% of everything outside of my 9-to-5 paycheck. And then also reinvesting back into my business of like YouTube and Rover. So anything I make in those two spaces, I will be taking out 15% to reinvest. So for YouTube, maybe using that money to eventually buy a very nice mic. And then for Rover, maybe saving enough to buy a nice vacuum so I can clean up all the dog hair. So those are also two new things that I added that I think will just be helpful in the long run. Another thing that I think I did well this month too was hitting on my categories of spending, which I talked about in the past. Obviously, it can still cut down on my expenses like I mentioned, but we did have like a lot of unforeseen charges, like buying cleaning supplies this month. When I went into the office, I totally forgot to bring lunch like twice, and there are some other things there too. Where I can cut back on in February is eating out, but not completely cutting it out. It's just I realized like it starts to add up when I'm too lazy to cook. So it's like probably all the fast food that's adding up, like the In-N-Outs, the Taco Bell. So trying to stay away from those. But again, for this being the first official month of 2023, I think this is a really great start and it provides like a very solid baseline for the upcoming year. So I'm really happy, and I want to remind all of you guys that when you're watching these monthly reset videos, when people are going through their budgets, you're looking at their income and their expenses, I want to remind you that everyone is different and that your money will never do more than your mindset will allow. So be kind to yourself when tracking your expenses and use these numbers as a guide and not a definition of who you are. Now for February, again, I did mention I will be on vacation at the end of the month, so I will be prioritizing that and doing my best to stay within what I have saved up, which I think will be $650 for those 7 days. Also, it's Valentine's, which means Valentine's Day, so spending it with my girls and spending quality time with them is exciting. So I'm excited to prioritize that, which is funny enough, we'll probably be eating out. So prioritizing eating out with them versus me randomly wanting to go eat out one night. And with that, we have another month down and we're ready to start February strong. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.